Welcome to Deer Hunt Productions, the channel for videos about all your favorite horror games. I'm DanCat33, and today, I'll explain why I think the latest marketing is lying to us about the true nature of the upcoming game, Secret of the Mimic. This prequel game seems to follow the events of the Mimic's origin story from Tales from the Pizzaplex. As a quick summary for those who are unfamiliar, one of Fazbear Entertainment's contractors was a man named Edwin Murray. He made the Mimic. Its purpose was to entertain his son David, while he turned Fazbear's costumes into fully functioning animatronics. However, David unfortunately died, and in his grief, Edwin attacked the Mimic, transferring his anger and rage into the AI, turning the once friendly endoskeleton into a murderous creature. Edwin abandoned his property, and in Secret of the Mimic, it's up to us to retrieve the Mimic for Fazbear Entertainment. However, I don't think the game's marketing is being fully honest. Similar to Help Wanted 2, I believe the trailers and descriptions hide a lot about this game. To start, I think alongside the factory, the nearby carnival will be a prominent location in the game, and it might even be the Fall Fest event featured heavily in the Help Wanted games. Fall Fest seems to be an annual Halloween event that started as early as 1970 and went up until at least 1983. In Help Wanted 2's gameplay, we journey through the Pizzaplex's employee training simulation inside the AR network. These levels mostly take place at the Pizzaplex, Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. However, certain ones are at some sort of outdoor carnival. Judging from the pumpkins and props previously seen in Help Wanted's Halloween DLC, Curse of Dreadbear. The Halloween theme of these levels has many people believing they take place at Fall Fest. The game's prize machine and hub even feature artwork depicting Fall Fest, further adding to the connections between the event and these levels. The Fall Fest levels also feature a fire, which we'll circle back to later. Anyway, the main point here is Help Wanted 2 was building up Fall Fest for a currently unknown reason. This is especially interesting as in Ruin, a developer note mentioned foreshadowing a carnival. We can already see elements of this in Secret of the Mimic's environmental design. If you pay closer attention to the game and its marketing, you'll notice some odd stuff. In Help Wanted 2's Secret of the Mimic update, a lot of new content was added to tease the game. At the end of the update, you discover a giant mask shop, appearing to be the exterior of Murray's Costume Manor, the main location in Secret of the Mimic. From a quick glance, this building gives me mild carnival vibes, from its bizarre coloring and striped patterns. Looking up a bit, you can see a mural of Bonnie and Fredbear with the circus caravan underneath. A similar caravan is visible in the Secret of the Mimic trailer, where there's also a framed picture of a pattern that looks like it'd be at home in a carnival. This picture is really interesting since there's nothing in focus there. It's just a framed carnival looking pattern. Maybe a character is supposed to be in this picture, but they're removed from the trailer to avoid spoilers? I don't know. Now sure, this isn't anything definitive, but luckily the PAX demo can help us out. At the Five Nights at Freddy's PAX West booth, there was a demo for Secret of the Mimic. And while waiting in line, visitors could see the Costume Manor's cameras, and one of them had a sign advertising a big top, which is the main tent of a circus. Considering this is displayed alongside the Manor camera feeds, this is very important for the game, further adding to the carnival connections. Visitors also reported seeing a Fall Fest poster while waiting in line to play the demo. Building off of this, it's likely the animatronics in the manor are for the nearby carnival. Take Dolly for example, she appears to be a nurse animatronic, but this isn't the first time we've seen her in the series. In the Help Wanted 2 first aid levels, there's a voice instructing the player on what to do. According to the subtitles, the voice comes from someone, or something, oddly named Carnival Nurse. Weird considering this level takes place in the pizza place and not a carnival. The symbol in the first aid levels also appears on Dolly's outfit, leading me to believe that Dolly is the carnival nurse from Help Wanted 2, which would imply there's a carnival nearby in Secret of the Mimic. The rest of the animatronic cast also hints at this. The newest Music Man monstrosity in this game is a pretty strange guy. His mouth has a music box in it, he has speakers coming out of his ears, and most relevant to this video, his chest resembles a circus tent. He also has hands coming out of his tent, possibly meaning he's some sort of puppet show attraction. The size of this musical man further makes me think this animatronic was made for an outdoor carnival. No way would he fit inside those tiny Freddy locations from the 80s. Then we have the face of the game, Jackie. She's a clown animatronic who gives me very strong carnival vibes. It's not anything as specific as Dolly and Music Man, but the clown appearance could definitely tie to a carnival. Last, but certainly not least, let's talk about the Mimic itself. In the Tales from the Pizzaplex epilogues, the Mimic is delivered to the Pizzaplex early in the establishment's development. Its appearance is described as dark and discolored, as if it survived some sort of fire. As previously mentioned, Help Wanted 2 showed what I can only assume is the Fall Fest fire. With the Mimic and its game being so connected to a carnival, likely Fall Fest, it only makes sense that it's the same fire that burned the Mimic. It fits the timing of Secret of the Mimic as well. We know Fall Fest started in or before 1970, and Curse of Dreadbear makes it seem like a yearly event, meaning there could have been a Fall Fest in 1979, the year Seeker of the Mimic occurred. Although the game also seems to take place in winter, so Fall Fest wouldn't be open at this time. However, this could explain why we see the carnival animatronics in the manor. Fall Fest is over, so the animatronics have been moved to the manor for storage. Speaking of animatronics, this leads into the next part of my theory. Something else I think is being hidden is the twist that the threats we're encountering in this game are the Mimic Model 2s. The line of Mimic endoskeletons created by Phasma Entertainment that were specifically designed to reconfigure themselves to fit inside any costume. Now I know what you're thinking. How could there be Mimic Model 2s if we've been sent to retrieve the original Mimic? Well, that's the thing. I don't think that's why we're here. I believe the original Mimic was already retrieved long ago, and since then, Phasma Entertainment has taken control of Edwin's factory. When rewatching the trailer, one line caught my interest.
It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character.
I'm sure we all know this is a key trait of the Mimic, clearly shown in the Tales epilogues and Ruin, where it dresses up in various costumes and even reconfigures itself into a spider. But that's not one of the Mimic's original abilities. While the Mimic could always wear mascot costumes, it could never reconfigure itself and fit in any mascot costume. That feature was only added to the Mimic Model 2s. For example, the original Mimic Edwin created wore various costumes in its origin story. It learned how to do this from David. In Seeker of the Mimic, we see it wearing mascot costumes. Nothing wrong there. The origin story clearly shows it already has that ability. But on the story page, we can see the Mimic's eyes inside Jackie, and wearing that suit is an entirely different story. She's at least twice the size of the Mimic. There's no way it would fit in there without reconfiguring itself. So we're either dealing with a Mimic who can reconfigure or another Mimic endoskeleton. Either way, Phasma Entertainment seems to have retrieved the Mimic by that point in the story, so I believe we're being misled. The factory's current state also implies something major has occurred following the Mimic's origin story. The building still has some key traits from the story, but it's much more lively and Phasma Entertainment themed. This might just be a similar situation to the Into the Pit game, where the story was adapted with the same plot, but with some minor changes to the locations. However, I believe there's a lore reason for all this. First, let's note all the employee posters in the more work-like setting. As shown in the origin story and the game's trailer, Edwin Murray was a solo contractor for Phasma Entertainment. Why would he need all these posters aimed at employees? The books and trailer also make it clear Edwin is reclusive. If so, why is there a store outside his factory? It doesn't fit with the story presented in the books or the marketing. As previously discussed, I think Phasma Entertainment already retrieved the Mimic. They then converted Edwin's factory into a proper workspace. It's specifically mentioned in the Mimic's origin story that Phasma Entertainment gained ownership of Edwin's property after he ran away. Perhaps this was added to foreshadow Phasma taking over Edwin's factory and transforming it into Murray's costume manor. But of course, the trailer outright says we're being sent to the factory to retrieve the Mimic. However, I don't think this is being entirely honest. In the Mimic's origin story, a member of the second team sent to collect the Mimic, named Dominic, finds items that belong to a previous team. Included in this is a tape recorder, detailing the team's expedition into the factory. If you pay attention to the dialogue in the trailer, it's very clearly a recording or call, not someone speaking to the player. I believe these aren't the instructions we've been given. Instead, these are recordings we find from the previous teams or workers that the Mimic killed. Now I will admit, this is somewhat of a stretch. There might be a good explanation for the Mimic being able to reconfigure before Phasma Entertainment retrieves it, but I'm a little skeptical at the moment. However, the description does mention retrieving the Mimic, so that might debunk my theory that these are instructions for a previous team. So alternatively, maybe we're trying to retrieve it for deactivation or containment after something went wrong with the Mimic Model 2s. The epilogues mentioned the Model 2s had misinterpreted instructions and could cause a potential disaster. The books never explain what happened, so maybe this game will fill in the gaps. I believe Phasma Entertainment was making the Model 2s in this factory, but something went wrong and they began killing the workers, so we've been sent to deactivate the Mimic Endos, which is hinted at in Hope Wanted 2. In the Seeker of the Mimic update ending, we see the van from the game speed away with the Mex's machine inside. Mex is an old security device in the Ruined DLC, which was used to keep the Mimic hidden in the sinkhole. The machine's dirtiness clearly shows it's old, and considering it appears in the van from Seeker of the Mimic, I think we'll see more of Mex's backstory in this game. It looks like we're being sent to the factory with Mex's, and I assume we'll have to use it to put an end to the Mimic's chaos in the manor. Again, this is somewhat out there, but I'm very confident Mex's will be the key to stopping the Mimic, regardless of the situation. That's all we have in store for this Mimic Yap session. Seeker of the Mimic is shaping up to be a really interesting game. and regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, I'm really excited to see where the story goes. We have a couple other Mimic Theory videos in the works, so subscribe so you don't miss those. While you're at it, be sure to like, share, and consider supporting us and our future projects. You can do this by buying a super thanks on this video or joining our monthly membership. Becoming a member gets you a ton of cool perks like shoutouts in our videos and descriptions, custom emojis and badges next to your name, exclusive updates, priority replies to comments, and if possible, you'll get to see our newest videos early. Thanks for watching, and check out some of our other videos.